50 years. Just think of all the things that have happened in the past 50 years. The civil rights movement, Elvis died, the millennium bug came and did nothing. But then we got the internet, mobile phones, same-sex marriage, and grown guys became obsessed with a talking horse show. But why am I mentioning 50 years? Well, it was 50 years ago that Star Trek first came to American TVs. Back then it took a little longer for things to go global. And being that it is such a special occasion, and since I mostly talk about animation, I thought I'd talk about the often overlooked Star Trek the Animated Series. Yeah, I was surprised when I first heard about it too. I know when I first talk about a show I mention the opening, but in this case it's just the TOS opening animated. Very well animated, but there's nothing really to say about it apart from I couldn't get rid of the subtitles. But you'll get used to them.
Captain's log, stardate 5221.3. On outward course beyond the fringe of our galaxy towards Questar M17, a source of mysterious radio emissions. Mission? Star charting.
Damn it, Kirk.
Stand by to reverse course. Standing by, sir. Reverse course.
That's something I never understood about Star Trek. Prepare to not die. Ready to not die, sir.
I can only describe it as hypergravity, Captain. More powerful than any we've ever encountered. It's dragging the Enterprise toward it.
Nice buzz cut. And yes, that is the late Leonard Nimoy voicing Spock. In fact, all the original cast reprised their roles. But don't worry, William Shatner doesn't sing.
Negative star mass. Spectra analysis. Imploded matter. But every reading on it is negative.
Well, they put the ship around the negative star mass. Although the transition's as wonky as their explanation of what it is they're orbiting. I mean, one second they're heading straight towards it, the next they're orbiting it. Also, is it me or does it look like the secondary hull is a tad long? Nice ship. I wonder what Trekyards would think of it. Well, the ship is giving off a radio signal, which Spock says is impossible since there's no other power readings or heat coming from that ship.
It is not a recorded galactic starship design. Retroanalysis of the ship's spectra dates it as having been in orbit here for slightly more than 300 million years.
That's old.
It's beautiful. What kind of people could have built it to touch even a starship with grace and beauty?
Kind of makes me wonder what it would look like in STO. I guess I'd better talk about the animation now. That won't be easy. You see, I can easily talk about animation from the 90s or late 80s because I was around when they were on TV. So I know what animation was like at that time, and therefore I can fairly tell if the animation in something is good or bad. But this came out in the early 70s, way before I was born. So I'm not entirely sure what animation was like at that time, and therefore I might be overly harsh on something that was common of the time. Mind you, these days professional studios use the same tools that animators on YouTube like Crown Prince, Animated James and Harry Partridge use, and often with higher budgets and lower results. So yeah, we're not exactly talking high standards these days. But even with that, the animation has honestly held up really well. In a Scooby-Doo sort of way, there's not a lot of detail in the character designs. But that said, there doesn't seem to be too many mistakes, and the character shapes do stay consistent. Those of you who may have watched my Tales reviews will know how I've pointed out that the character shapes, particularly the heads, change. And I don't think it's just because they're humanoid. I suspect they took longer to make these cells than the makers of My Little Pony tales. Mind you, how often do these shots get reused? I mean, I know the beauty shots will get reused like they were in the original show. But I can't help but wonder how often we'll see original animation for an episode in this show.
We'll board her, Mr. Spock.
Oh my. Mind you, given YouTube's updated policy, that means no one can monetize this video anymore. Sexual innuendo to the rescue! While they beam aboard the... Anyone else get the impression that was William Shatner's idea? Anyway, while exploring, they find a message left by the crew.
Danger! The dead star. We are being drawn to it. Rather than carry this malevolent life form to other worlds, we have decided to destroy our own ship.
What is this, Mass Effect? Oh wait. Well, some explosions happen, but they make it back to the Enterprise, and Kirk didn't rip his shirt. Unfortunately, something has made it back with them.
Transport it back out.
Ha! Beam it back. Shift. Whatever it is escapes into the ship. Hey, I just noticed there was some dirt on this cell. Back on the bridge, Kirk tells Scotty to arm the self-destruct, just in case.
We're registering a slightly higher than normal magnetic flux, not dangerous. But the level isn't constant. It seems to fluctuate. A steady, almost pulsing rhythm.
Like the beating of a heart.
At that moment, various systems around the ship go offline. Not much to say other than the Enterprise then destroys the alien ship. Shame. After more systems go down, Kirk tells Spock to put a shield around the navigation console.
Jim, you don't think that's going to help us. Whatever that thing is, it survived millennia in a dead hawk. All it has to do here is outlast us and just take over.
No. It must be held by the magnetic force of the dead star, and it needs a starship to break free and a crew to man it.
You are correct, Captain James T. Kirk. And I have the starship I've waited for so long. So terribly long.
The life form starts firing on the crew to get them to give it control of the ship. So Kirk bluffs it by switching off the force field and replacing it with his life support belt. I think. It's not clear what he actually does.
What are we dealing with, Spock?
High-rank probabilities, Captain. It is a magnetic organism without mass, but capable of symbiotic relationship with a host body. A starship, for instance. It is a form of primal energy, and it can utilize the electronic control systems of a starship like the mind of a man uses the neural control systems of the human body. It has become the Enterprise.
You will leave this orbit and plot course to galactic coordinates 036.231.
That's the heart of a galaxy, Captain.
Oh, don't worry. You'll go there in the final frontier.
Complete repairs. Obey me.
Someone seen Doctor Who. Kirk activates the controls and the ship starts to fall towards the dead sun.
Obey me.
Come on, Girdle.
They activate the engines at the last minute and the life form...
Don't leave me alone. Please. Please. So lonely.
That's actually kind of sad.
Captain's log, stardate 5221.8. Final entry. Resuming outward course beyond the farthest star of our galaxy. Mission, star charting.
No, bad idea. So that's the first episode of Star Trek the Animated Series. How is it? Well, following internet logic, it's not as good as the original, therefore it's bad. However, if we use an actual brain, it's not too bad. It isn't really one of those memorable episodes like Doomsday Machine or Balance of Terror. It's more like Cat's Paw. That said, I will still judge it for being a poor introduction to the series. I know a lot of shows have that problem, but I'm still not going to let it off. Because unless you know who Kirk, Spock and Bones are, you are likely not going to understand why he's giving orders, what it is they're doing, or why he has pointy ears. And given this was made in 1973, that's likely. Anyway, congratulations to Star Trek for half a century of keeping Gene Roddenberry's vision alive.